Well, good morning and welcome to another version of Friday Mental Motivation. I am Cedric LaFleur and I'm excited to be here with you this morning. Today is just a wonderful Friday and I'm excited to be here again with you this morning. So, hey, look, today I want to talk with you about success principles, and I'm going to be talking on four of the 17 principles of success from Napoleon Hill. And let me tell you what, these are just exciting, and I'm excited to be here with you this morning. I'm going to talk about these four principles, and then I'm going to get on out of the way like I normally do. But, Friday mental motivation is important for several reasons. One, it's important because people just need that extra push to finish out their week. The second reason Friday mental motivation is important because, I need that extra push to help you finish out that week. And it does something to the soul when you can provide something for other people. And so this is why I like doing Friday mental motivation. I'm excited that you're here today, whether you're listening to it live or you're listening to the replay of it, folks. Let me tell you what, Friday mental motivation is to give you that push that you need to finish out the week and to start your weekend off. And let me tell you what, it's always exciting to know that we're at the end of a great week, and now we can go into the weekend and do some wonderful things for ourselves, for our lives, and for our families. I'm going to start off with this story. And it's a 24-year-old boy who was sitting out from a train's sitting and looking out the train window, and he was shouting things. And he said, "Dad, look, the trees are going behind us." Well, his dad just smiled, and a young couple sitting nearby looked at the 24-year-old childish behavior with pity, and suddenly he yelled again. He said, "Dad, look, the clouds are running with us." Well, the couple couldn't resist, and they said to the old man, "Why don't you take your son to a good doctor?" Now, the old man just smiled and he said, "Look, I did. And we just are coming back from the hospital. My son was born blind, and he just got his eyes today." Now, see, every single person on the planet has a story. Every person has a story. So don't judge people before you truly know them, before you know everything, because the truth might just surprise you. So don't place judgment on someone. Today is Friday mental motivation, and I want to discuss these Napoleon Hill's 17 principles of success. I'm going to talk about four of them today. I won't go down all 17 on today, but we'll get to the other ones. But today I want to start off with definiteness of purpose. And the thing is, you have to develop this definiteness of purpose for several different reasons. See, success and progress towards achieving your goals in life begin with knowing where you're going. Don't you know that every time when you know where you're going, it's easier to get there? So that's really what I want to talk about today around this developing definiteness of purpose. See, any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in your conscious mind through repeated effort and emotionalized by a burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious, right? And it's acted upon through whatever natural and logical means may be available. In other words, when it's in your conscious mind, when it becomes a part of your consciousness, boom, you can achieve it. See, your mental attitude gives power to everything that you do. Your attitude is positive. If your attitude is positive, your actions and your thoughts will also be positive, and it's going to further you to that end that you're looking for. If your attitude is negative, you're going to constantly undermine your own efforts. Now, I want you to think about this. Sit and think about this for a second. Think about what happens to you when you have a positive attitude. And then think about what happens to you and around you when you have a negative attitude. See, your attitude is a predictor of what's coming. Your attitude is a predictor of what's coming. If it's positive, boom, positive things will be coming your way. If it's negative, boom, negative things will be coming your way. The starting point of all human achievement is the development of a definite major purpose. And this is why this is important that we all create this definiteness of purpose in our lives. See, your mental attitude is going to give power to everything that you do. Everything that you do. See, without a definite major purpose, you're going to be as helpless as a ship without a compass. I'm going to say that again because I want to make sure that you get it. It's just that important. If without a definite major purpose, you are as helpless as a ship without a compass in your life, in your career, in your education, in your relationships, in everything that you do. You have to have a definite major purpose. Understand your why. Know why you exist, why you're here, what you're made to do, and then live in it. Now, what you have to do is you got to learn to operate and feed in that positive in your life. So, in the tale of two wolves, the grandfather was telling his grandson, there are two wolves within you, one good and one bad. Now, the grandson looks at his wise grandfather and he asks, well, which one will live within me? Well, the grandfather says, the one you feed. See, think about it. You can either feed your faith or you can feed your fears. But if you feed your faith, you will starve your fears and your doubts and what ifs. But on the same token, if you feed your fears, you're going to starve your faith. I want to make sure today that you understand we need to feed our faith. We need to minimize our fears. It doesn't mean that you will never have fear, folks. Let me tell you what. I've had a lot of major successes in my life, but I still have some fears from time to time. Okay. I just want you to know that that's just a part of life, but we have to learn the minute that fear comes, boom, we got to stomp it out. The minute that fear comes, boom, we got to stomp it out. You have to say, no, you're a liar. You're not going to control me. You're not going to bind me up. And you know how fears looks to you, right? It becomes questions that in your mind. Well, what if I fail at it? What if I'm not good at it? What if they don't like it? What if they don't want it? What if no one shows up? What if? That's your fears happening, folks. When you start going down that path, you need to stop and say no. Now turn that what if question around. What if they like it? What if they come? What if more people come than I expected? What if great things happen? What if I'm successful? What if more people love it and I don't have enough room for everybody that comes? That changes everything, folks. So we need to make sure that you feed your faith. QD, yeah, Qdo, yeah. You need to feed your faith and eliminate those fears. I want you to understand something. There are going to be times that you fail. Trust me, I failed. When I was 29 and bankrupt, I failed financially. But I didn't let that stop me and hold me down. When I invest today, there are times that, you know what, the stock market works great for me, but then there are times where, boom, I lose money. But, I don't let that stop me. See, what I could do is say, oh my God, no, I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm going to lose my money in the stock market. No. That's a part of the process. That's how you learn how to make better decisions, how to read the reports differently or better. Or it helps you learn to say, let me just stay still right now. Let me give you an example. Coinbase just launched, right? Whoo, there was this amazing rush for everybody everybody was about this cryptocurrency. right? Coinbase just had an IPO earlier this week. Well, all of a sudden, boom, the stock price was targeted at 250. When it finally launched around noontime on, I think it was Wednesday, it launched at $381 and it immediately shot up. It went from 381 to 390 to 400 to 416. And that's why I initially bought that at 416. And then it went up all the way up to 420, then went to 429. Boom, success, right? Well, here's what happened. All that success, all of a sudden came crashing down. Boom, the prices start to plummet. All of a sudden that 429 that I was cheering on, boom, it went back down to 420, then to 415, then to 416, then to 415. Wait a minute, I was at 416. That's why I purchased that. Then all of a sudden it went to 400. Then I saw it go down to 380. Then it went down to 370. Then it went to 360. Then at 350. Then it landed. It closed that first day, I think at like 330 something. Well, that happens. That's a part of the process. So then I said, I'm not going to stay here. That's okay. What I initiated was called a buy down. And what I did was I sold it at the 416 and I bought it again at the 389. Right now it's down in the 320s. Okay. And that's okay. I'm going to stay right there where I'm at because I know it's going to come back and I know it's going to go higher than what it is. Some analysts have it targeted between $500 and $650. So I know it's going to recover. I'm just going to sit still. You see, Kevin Durant, this is a perfect example. Kudo, thanks very much for saying I need to hear this because you're going to give you a perfect example. Kevin Durant, you know the basketball player. He invested in Coinbase in 2017 before it was available on the stock market. He had an opportunity to invest. And what did he do? Boom, he popped in $250,000. That 250 now, 250,000 right now is worth 13 million. You see, folks, 2017 is when he invested. He saw his return here in 2021. Sometimes you have to be still and not worry and not let fear take over. But see, he had what I talked about at the very beginning, a definiteness of purpose. He understood what the purpose was. All right. So now let's go to number 2, mastermind alliance. You have to establish a mastermind alliance. A mastermind alliance consists of 2 or more minds working actively together in perfect harmony toward a common, definite objective. There goes that definite of purpose again. Right. Through a mastermind alliance, you have you can appreciate, you can create the appropriate use of strength and experience and training and knowledge of other people other than just your own. Right. See, no individual has achieved great success without help and cooperation of other people. I'm going to say that again. No individual has achieved great success. I'm not talking about just success because you can have success by yourself. I'm talking about great success or significance without the help or cooperation of others. See, the value of gathering together those of a like mind is self-evident. Now, let me tell you this. What you want to do is you want to get people who believe what you believe, but they think different thoughts. Let me say that again to make sure that you get it. You want to get people that believe what you believe, but they think different thoughts. See, a group of brains coordinated in a spirit of harmony will provide more thought energy than a single brain. See, just as a group of electric batteries will provide more energy than a single battery. You understand what I'm saying? You see, you have to make sure that you have definiteness of purpose and then establish a mastermind alliance with other people. I have a mastermind alliance with other people that are helping me in different things. I could do some things on my own, but if I develop this mastermind alliance, this agreement with like-minded people, then I can do things at a a lot higher level. Now, what I want to make sure you understand, folks, that you don't let other people then control your thoughts. You see, you still want to have control of your thoughts. And when people, I posted this on social media just this morning. I want to make sure that I read this because I want to make sure that you get it and that you understand it, because it's so true. No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. I'm going to say that again because it's important that you get it. And I want you to give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if you agree with this. No person is your friend who demands your silence or demands or denies you your right to grow. Meaning that they're not cheering for you. They're hoping that you'll be quiet. They don't want your success. They just want you to go along to get along. You see? You don't need those type people in your mastermind alliance. You don't need those type people around you. You need to immediately eliminate those people from being around you in association with you, because they are stomping out your creativity, your innovation, your thought process, your power, your existence. They're trying to kill your dream. I call them, dream killers. I also call them average people. You see, because average people will always try to keep you average. Average people are going to say things like, Cedric, you're not good enough for this. Average people are going to say, Cedric, you're not ready to do this right now. Average people are going to say things like, Cedric, no, we don't need your help in this situation, even though you have the experience and whatever to do this. Average people will try to keep you average. So you have to make sure you don't hang around with average people. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their name is, what their address is. If they are average people, you're going to hear the things like I just said. You're not ready for this. You're not good enough for this. Well, we don't need your help for this. We don't want you in this. You can't do this. Average people will try to keep you average. Don't hang around with average people. The minute you find average in your life, eliminate it. That's the only way you're going to stomp it out, because, folks, you are going to be the average of the people you hang around with. And if you hang around with average people, boom, you're going to be average. I don't care who they are, what level of success they've achieved. If their mindset is average, they're going to keep you average. That's what average people do. All right. So what mental crutches do you have? The education ministry in Canada said that they had a plan to put over 100 courses online. Now, their plan initially was to do this over a 10-year time span. However, coronavirus hit. Coronavirus forced them to do it in 1 month. Think about this. Over 100 courses in 30 days. They initially planned to do it in 10 years. You see, the mental crutches we put on ourselves. See, they had the capacity all the time to do this, to put those 100 courses online in 30 days. They just put mental crutches on themselves. Don't limit yourself. What mental crutches are you putting in your life? Where are you putting these mental crutches in your life is the question you need to ask yourself on a daily, consistent basis. In your life, in your business life, in your relationships, in everything that you do. Where are you putting mental crutches on yourself? Saying, I can't do it right now. Because COVID helped a whole lot of businesses take off those mental crutches. There are a lot of businesses thought that they couldn't do certain things. There are a whole lot of people thought that they couldn't do certain things in a certain time period because they put mental crutches on themselves. Don't be like the Canadian education ministry and putting mental crutches on yourself. But COVID, especially in the black churches, not just black churches, in all churches, they all had mental crutches on themselves. We can't go on social media. We can't go online because that's the devil's work. Well, God said, well, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to eliminate it so people can't go into your buildings, because the internet is not the devil's work. It's the work that I put together. You said I have all power. You said I create all things on heaven and earth, but you don't want to go online. See, God fixed it. Coronavirus, Boom. I'm going to stop the people from going in your church building. So now you have to go online. See, he helped them get out of their fear, feeding their fear, even though they're supposed to be feeding their faith. He helped them take the mental crutches off. Where are you putting mental crutches in your life? So the first two principles I talked about is develop a definiteness of purpose. The second one is establish a mastermind alliance. The third one is applied faith. Faith is awareness of and belief in and harnessing the universe with universal power. Faith is a state of mind which must be active, not passive, to be useful in achieving lasting success. So you got to close the door to fear behind you, and you will quickly see that the door of faith open up before you. Now, I'm going to say that again because that's just good right there, folks. Close the door of faith behind you, and you will quickly see the door of faith open before you. See, fear is nothing more than a state of mind. What I think is what I feel. What I feel is what I say, and what I say is what I do. If you feed your fears, you're going to think nothing but fear-mongering things. And that's going to be right here in what you're feeling. And that's going to be in what you say, and that's going to be in what you do. Fear is nothing more than a state of mind which is subject to your own direction and control. Faith will not bring you what you desire, but it will show you the way to go after what is for you. I'm going to say that again, folks, because I need you to get it. Fear is nothing more than a state of mind which is subject to your own direction and control. However, faith will not bring you what you desire, but it will show you the way to go after what is for you. That's just the way it is, folks. You know, Carrie Rich, you might not know who Carrie Rich is, but when she was in her 20s, she worked as a senior director of Inova Health System in Virginia. She wanted her life to make a difference, like you want your life to make a difference, right? She told her boss that she planned to solicit donations for her friends, from her family, and from her colleagues to help in people in need. Now, her boss gave her $100 to get her started because he believed in the dream. Her goal was to turn that $100 into $1,000 donations for each. Take the $100 donation and turn it into a $1,000 donation for the 6 different organizations that she wanted to help around the world. Now, to accomplish her goal, she started in 2011. She wrote to everyone she knew and to people she didn't know to ask for money to assist her with these charities, which she ended up naming the Global Good Fund. Now, money started rolling in, and her small fund grew to $6,000 in 2 weeks. Soon after, a casual acquaintance donated $1 million to her good work. And in 2012, she quit her job to work full time to build this new philanthropic organization. And so in 1 year, she went from $100 to $1 million. $100 to $1 million. See, the people who most often make the biggest difference are the people who are the first to step up and help. Like many other ordinary people who make the world a better place, Carrie Rich started out small, the first step on her important journey, and built up from there. I'm going to say that again. She started off small and built up from there. You see, specifically, she took $100 with intentions and built it to more than $1 million. Now, where are you in that journey right now in starting off small? Are you afraid to get started? You see, if you never get started, you'll never get to the 1 million. She now devotes all of her time on a full-time basis helping needy people. Now, impoverished people all over the world benefit from her intentionality. One of the greatest ironies of life is that if you give up your life, you gain it. Oh, man. Let me say that again. One of the greatest ironies of life is if you give up your life, you gain it. If you help others, you benefit. If you lose yourself, you find yourself. Now, the last principle that I'm going to talk with you about is going the extra mile. You have to go the extra mile. You have to be willing to go the extra mile. See, strength and struggle go hand in hand. Strength and struggle go hand in hand. See, you got to render more and better service than what you were paid for. And sooner or later, you will receive compound interest from your investments. See, this is why I'm not worried about that Coinbase dropping. I'm going to sit still and I'm going to stay right at that 389 where I bought it at. I bought a lot of it. I'm going to leave it right there. And one day, it's going to transform into a whole lot more than what I invested in it. When you render more and better service than what you're paid for, sooner or later, you will receive compound interest on your investment. The end of a rainbow is at the end of the second mile. See, the quality of service rendered plus the quantity of service rendered plus the mental attitude, a positive mental attitude, by the way, in which it is rendered equals your compensation. Now, I need to say that again because I need to make sure you got it. And I'm going to say it slow. All right. The quality of service rendered plus the quantity of service rendered plus the mental attitude, and usually a positive mental attitude, which is rendered, equals your compensation. See, the more you give, the more you get. You've heard that saying before. That's really what I'm saying. Going the extra mile, the more you give, the more you get. You know, there was in this farming community, there's this banker, and he said, here's how he determined if he will approve or deny a farming loan. When a farmer comes in, he would ask one question. Are you fencing in? Are you fencing out? Are you fencing in? Are you fencing out? He said, if a farmer is fencing in, he's trying to secure what he has. He has no plans of growing and developing. He's in his comfort zone, really. He is just trying to hold on to what he has. And he said, I would seldom approve loans for anyone who is just holding on, who is just in their comfort zone, who don't want to be creative and innovative in their thoughts and to grow. He said, if they were fencing out, I almost always gave them money. He said, because they are going to buy some more land. They're going to move, get some more livestock. They're going to put more fences up. See, if you're fencing out, there's potential for profit there. If you're fencing in, you're at best worrying about just holding on. So the point is, if you're maintaining, you're a fencing in person. If you're creating, you're a fencing out person. So my question is, which one are you? Are you maintaining and you're a fencing in person? Or are you creating and you're a fencing out person? And here's how you can just tell that. Are you living in your comfort zone in your life right now? See, if you are, then you're a fencing in person. You're just holding on. Are you stepping out and taking some risk from time to time? Calculated risk, educated risk, right? Mitigated risk. Are you taking those risks? Then that means that you're a fencing out type of a person. Only you know which one you are. I'm a fencing out type person. I'm always going to push the envelope and try to get outside my comfort zone. That's where growth happens. That's where great things happen. Nothing great ever happened in the comfort zone. Get outside your comfort zone. I'm going to wrap up with the story, and I think it's going to help you understand. And it's really a story about these sixth graders. When I was in sixth grade, the sixth graders had this project to grow a plant. Now, each student received a cup, a pile of dirt, one seed, and a cup of water. And on day one, they filled the cup with dirt. They put in the seed in the dirt, and then they watered the seed. On day two, they ran into the classroom to see if they saw any growth. But each student looked at their cup and said, "It's not working," because they didn't see anything. Then they ran into the classroom on day three and to see if they saw anything. But the students looked in it and they all yelled, "It's not working," because they didn't see anything. On day four, they just kind of casually walked into the classroom to look to see if they saw any growth, and they looked in their cup, and each of the students said, "It's not working," because they didn't see anything. On day five, none of the students checked their cup to see if it was working. But one little girl stood up and said, "I want to check my cup just to make sure." When she got up to go to the windowsill where her cup was sitting, she looked inside the cup and she shouted, "It's working!" So all the kids ran to their cups to see if it was working. And you see, those kids just realized, they didn't realize that just like the law of process, leaders develop daily, not in a day. They didn't realize that those seeds were developing below the surface, even though they didn't see any evidence of it. This is the same thing with you as you go through your life, as you go through training, as you go through your business, as you go into your career, as you go into relationship. You just have to understand and growth is happening beneath the surface. You may not see evidence. You're developing. You're getting better every day. So you just have to keep doing it. And you won't see evidence and you won't see great things overnight. Success doesn't mean that you're not progressing. It just means that it's not happening. It means that it's happening below the surface. It just means that you're taking time to grow and develop. It's not going to be one of those things that just you're going to wake up the next day and see all of a sudden I'm thin because you worked out the day before. It's not going to be one of those things that you just wake up and see all of a sudden my bank account has all these great sums. And it's not going to be one of those things that you wake up and all of a sudden you see this great, beautiful person laying next to you the next day. You just have to continue to work on yourself and get better and get stronger and get faster every day, because I'm telling you, it's working. You don't have to see evidence to know that it's working. You just have to have belief that that it's working. And when you believe that it's working, trust me, I'm gonna tell you one thing, it's working. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep driving. You just have to remember to tell yourself that it's working, that I don't have to see evidence. In fact, I want you to write down for yourself, I don't have to see evidence to know that it's working. Just write that down and put it on a piece of paper where you can see it every day. Hang it up on a mirror. I don't have to see evidence to know that it's working. Trust me, folks, when you decide that you want to do something great, when you decide that you want to go to another level, when you decide that you want something different in your life, you just have to keep working. You have to know that it's working. And like I said earlier, the law of process says leaders develop daily, not in a day. Leaders develop over time. It's that oven type mentality that I talked about a few Fridays ago. It's not that microwave mentality. You can't just press the button and think, boom, in 10 seconds, it's going to be done. You can't just press the button and think, boom, in one day, it's going to be done. You can't just press the button and think, boom, in 1 week, it's going to be done. It's one of those things, folks, that you got to put it at 375 degrees and you got to let it take its time. And all of a sudden, boom, 20 minutes later, you're going to see that cake start to rise. 30 minutes later, you're going to see that cake really get really good and fluffy. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's going to be the time for you to take the cake out of the oven, but you have to believe the whole time that it's in that oven, that it's working, that it's growing, that it's going to become good for you to eat later on. It's the same thing in your life. You have to understand that success does not come to those who want it overnight. Success only comes when you decide that it's for you and you believe in you, and you have to eliminate people in your life who tell you that you can't do it. You have to eliminate people in your life who just try to discourage you from your goals. You have to eliminate people in your life who don't want to get in line with your dreams. Folks, you have to live your dream. Let me tell you what, folks, if I told you right now to close your eyes and think of your dream, and then I tell the person sitting next to you or standing by you, or call your friend up and say, hey, tell me what Eddie's dream is. Tell me what Cuto's dream is. Tell me what Cheryl's dream is. Tell me what Donnie's dream is. Tell me what Edward's dream is. Tell me what Angela's dream is. Tell me what Damien's dream is. You folks, let me tell you what, they won't know what your dream is, because it's not their dream. It's your dream, and God gave it to you. He's not going to ask you about Damien's dream and Nicole's dream and Angela's dream and Donovan's dream and Monica's dream and Monique's dream and Cuto's dream and Eddie's dream. He's not going to ask you about their dream. He's only going to ask you, he's going to say, hey, what did you do with the skills and the beliefs and the abilities that I gave you? What did you do with the dream that I planted in you? Or did you make the most of it? That's what he's going to ask you on the day of judgment. He's not going to be worried about somebody else. And you're not going to be able to stand up there and say, my mama didn't believe in my dream. You're not going to be able to stand up there and say, my spouse didn't believe in my dream. You're not going to be able to stand up there and say, my best friend didn't believe in my dream. You're not going to be able to stand up there and say, this person didn't believe in my dream. My boss didn't believe in my dream. You're not going to be able to stand up there and say that, folks. He's going to say, what did you do with the skills and the abilities and the dream that I gave you? Did you use it to the best? Did you maximize it? Did you take advantage of it? Did you invest in yourself? That's what he's going to ask you. He's not going to ask you about a scarcity mindset. He's not going to ask you about what you're afraid of and what your fears were. He's just going to ask you, what did you do with the skills that I gave you? What did you do with the belief that I gave you? What did you do with the dream that I gave you? He's going to say, if you didn't take advantage of it, he's going to say, run and get on out of my face right now, right? Because you are what he calls a slacker. That means you are not one who's ready. Just like he says, if I give you 5 pence and you don't grow those 5 pence, you bury those 5 pence and you hold on to them and worried about losing them. He says, no, get out of here. You're going to live like a peasant for the rest of your life. The same thing he did with the man that grew his pence. He says, you are worthy of greatness. I want you to go into the castle and you're going to live like a king for the rest of your life, because you took my pence and you grew it. You took your dream and you grew it. You took your skills and you grew it. You took the abilities that I gave you and you grew it. You did something with it. You fed your faith and you eliminated your fears, and you didn't have to believe. You didn't have to see evidence to know that it was working. You just had to believe in the law of process that says leaders develop daily, not in a day. You just have to believe in yourself to know that you say that I gave you all power, and you say that I have all power, and you say that you believe that I am because I am and because I said that I am, but you obviously didn't believe because you didn't do nothing with the skills I gave you. You didn't do anything with the dream I gave you. You didn't do anything with the pence I gave you. Folks, you don't want to end up on that judgment day standing there going, I didn't do the things I needed to do with it. You want to be standing there saying, yes, here's what I did with the dream you gave me. I did this and I did this and I grew it this way. Here's what I did with the pence that you gave me. You gave me 1 pence and I'm giving you back 4 pence. You gave me 5 pence and I'm giving you back 20 pence. This is what you want to stand on Judgment Day and be there, folks. And let me tell you what, folks, when you decide that you want to go to a greater place in your life, there's nothing and no one that can stop you, folks. And let me tell you what, you just have to understand that you can do it. It's just like going climb up Mount Everest, and you have that Sherpa guide that's with you, that's going to help you, and they're going to get you up that mountain. You have to believe in your skills and your abilities that got you there, and then you have to follow that Sherpa guide. And let me tell you what, there were a few people that didn't believe the Sherpa guide, and here's what happened, folks. This Sherpa guide took these people up this mountain, and they were getting ready to climb Mount Everest, and they got partially way up the mountain, and he said, we have to turn back because the weather is not going to allow us to finish this journey today. But those people still believe, even though they were disappointed. And that night in the cabin, they were sitting down having dinner, and the Sherpa guide said, you know what, folks, let me tell you what. I know that you're disappointed. I know that you're sad right now, but let me tell you what. I want to talk to Mount Everest right now for you, because I want you to understand that we are still going to climb to the top of Mount Everest. I want you to understand that you're still going to reach the summit, folks, and the summit may not be Mount Everest for you. The summit may be a new job for you. The summit may be a new career for you. The summit may be a degree for you. The summit may be a new car for you. The summit may be reaching a financial goal for you. Your summit may be a new house. Your summit may be a new relationship. I don't know what your summit is, folks, but here's what the Sherpa guy did. He stood up in that lodge and he looked at this wall that had this great picture of Mount Everest on it. And he says, Mount Everest, I want to talk with you. I want to tell you something today, Mount Everest. You defeated us today, Mount Everest. You won today. You defeated us and you won. We did not accomplish our goals today, Mount Everest. But he says, Mount Everest, I want to tell you something. See, the people that's behind me right now, the people that are online listening to me right now, it could be Kudo, it could be Eddie, it could be Angela, it could be Nicole, it could be Donovan, it could be Michelle, it could be Michael, it could be Susan, it could be any of you that's listening right now. It could be Bridget, it could be who's that? I'm sorry. It could be whoever's online. Let me just stop recalling out the name. It could be whoever's online. And he says, I want you to understand something, Mount Everest. You defeated us today, but we're coming back next year because let me tell you what, Mount Everest, today you are as big as you're ever going to be. You can't get any bigger than what you are. But the people that are right here, right now with me, Mount Everest, I want you to know we can get bigger. We can get faster. We can get stronger and we can get better. And we're going to come back next year, Mount Everest, and we're going to climb you. We're going to win. And let me tell you what, you can get bigger. You can get faster. You can get stronger. You can get better. And all you got to do is know, you got to have the belief. You got to have the definite purpose. You got to have a mastermind alliance. You have to use your applied faith, and then you have to go the extra mile. And I'm telling you what's going to happen. You're going to climb Mount Everest. You're going to get that new job. You're going to get that new car. You're going to get that new house. You're going to reach that financial goal. You're going to get that new relationship that you want. Whatever that Mount Everest is for you, you're going to reach it if you put these things in your life. And I just want to tell you right now, all you have to do is believe. A positive mindset is going to get you a whole lot of places, but you have to make sure that you don't hang around with average people. If you want to be average, then stay with average people. If you want to be better than average, then what you got to do is you got to go get with better than average people, folks. And I'm telling you, I'm here today. I'm living proof that I eliminate average out of my life. And I'm living proof, folks, that I still make mistakes. I'm living proof, folks, that negative things still happen. I'm living proof, folks, that you don't always win when you want to win. Sometimes you have to fail in order to win bigger later. And I just know that I still believe in, and I still continue forward. I still keep a positive mental attitude. This is why I come on here with Friday Mental Motivation, folks, to let you know that you just have to keep holding on. You don't have to hold on for one day. You may not have to hold on for a year. You may have to hold on for 5 years. But as long as you keep holding on, folks, let me tell you what, it's going to come your way. And as long as you keep holding on, folks, I just want you to know that it's going to happen for you, through you, and in you when you decide that this is what you want. So make sure that you understand, folks, the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary, folks, is extra. The only difference between winning and losing is belief. The only difference between hot water and boiling water is 1 degree. At 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, water boils. With boiling water comes steam. With steam, you can power a train. The only difference between a person reaching their full potential and not reaching their full potential is desire. And let me tell you what, folks, all you need to do is put a little extra in your life. See, I wear this armband every day to remind me to be a little extraordinary. Every day I wear this armband. I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is I put my armband on and I wear it to remind me to be extraordinary. The other thing that I wear every day, folks, it's my comfort zone armband. It reminds me to live outside my comfort zone. See, if I'm living in my comfort zone, then I know nothing's happening. If I live in my comfort zone, then I know I'm not growing. If I live in my comfort zone, then I know I'm going nowhere. If I live in my comfort zone, then I know I'm average. If I live in my comfort zone, I know my friends are average. So if I'm living outside my comfort zone, then I know what happens, folks. My friends are not average any longer. And when I'm living outside my comfort zone, I know that I'm growing. I know that I'm taking risks. I know that I'm believing. I know that I'm living in my faith and not in my fear. I know that I'm believing what God gave me and I'm living out my dream and my true potential, folks. When I retired from corporate America, I said, boom, I'm living life the way that I want to live, folks. I'm going to do the things that I want to do, folks. I'm going to do the things when I want to do them, folks. And that's what I do today, folks. And this is why you have to have definiteness of purpose. You see, I know a lot of people who have a lot of things, but they still working. They're not living their true purpose right now because they are afraid. They're living in fear and they're living in doubt. It's because they don't know where they're going. The minute you know where you're going, folks, I'm telling you, all things change. Without a definite major purpose in your life, you're going to be helpless. You're going to be just like a ship without a compass. See, success and progress toward achieving your goals in life begin with knowing where you're going. See, any dominating thought, idea, plan, or purpose held in your conscious mind through repeated effort and emotionalized by burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious mind and is acted upon whatever natural and logical means you have available, folks. And Napoleon Hill said in the book Think and Grow Rich, he says, any person can win at an undertaking if they're willing to burn their ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by doing so can they maintain a mindset known as a burning desire to win. So my final question for you today is, do you have a burning desire to win? Do you have a burning desire to achieve extraordinary things in your life? Do you have a burning desire to be great? Do you have a burning desire to do significant things in your life? Do you have a burning desire to have a great relationship, a great career, great money, great everything in your life? When you have that burning desire, nothing can stop you. You're going to close your mind tightly against anyone that come up against you. And folks, I didn't mean to stay here for 48 minutes with you this morning, but I just had to. It just came out, folks. The starting point to all human achievement is the development of a definite major purpose. I'm going to ask you to share this with someone. Thank you, Q. Thank you very much, brother. I want you to share this with someone because you know a friend, a family member, an acquaintance, a coworker. You know someone that needs this message today. I'm going to ask you to share it. Share it on your social media. Because, see, people need to hear that they can do some great things. People need to understand that they don't have to come from greatness to be great. People have to understand that they don't have to be born with a silver spoon in their mouth to have a silver spoon now. People have to understand that they don't have to have been born in a gold-laden castle in order to live in a golden-laden castle right now. People have to understand that they can live a life of significance. They can live a life of greatness if they choose to. They don't have to let what happened to them when they were 5, when they were 10, when they were 15. They didn't have a house to live in. They were living from house to house with friends, and because they didn't have stable parents, they may have lived in a foster environment. They don't have to let that hold them down and burden them down. They may not have had food to eat every night at home. They don't have to let that burden them down. They may have lived in the hood growing up. They don't have to let that burden them down. They may have been with a drug in a drug infested neighborhood, parents who were on drugs, parents who were on alcoholics, parents who are abusive. They don't have to let that control who they are and where they are right now, folks. I didn't grow up with my father. But I don't let that stop me from being a great father. Okay? All you have to know is you're developed for a purpose. God developed you for a purpose. He gave you certain skills and talents and abilities. He put certain people in your life for a reason. Now you have to take advantage of those opportunities, right? You have to then say, well, if I want to do what that person does, then I have to go do what that person does. I hear people say it all the time. Cedric, I want to do what you do. I wish I could live your life right now. No, they really don't. Because they don't want to do what I did to do what I do. And let me tell you quickly what I did in order to do what I do. When I was bankrupt, I learned that I had to change my ways of spending. And I still battle with that because I'm a spender, right? But I'm also an investor. But I still battle with, do I need to spend money on this, that, and the other? And sometimes I just do it. So it's a constant battle that you have to pay attention to, right? Then you have to stop that. Then you have to stop. Some people want new cars every year, every 2 years. You got to stop doing it. For years, we didn't do it because we had bigger dreams. We didn't go on vacations for years because we had bigger dreams. And I know that your friends and your family and everybody's going on vacation and they look like they're living in life and all that type of stuff. But we didn't do it on purpose so that we can get to where we are today. So sometimes you got to sacrifice. Remember I said earlier, you got to give up to go up. Well, that's what I mean. You got to give up some of those things. No, I'm sorry, y'all going on vacation. Go ahead. We can't go. Well, yeah, you can spend that money. It's okay. Treat yourself. No. We can't go right now. We have other things that we want to do. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to say that. Not everybody's willing to say it. The other thing that I do, I did is I started investing in myself. When I say investing in myself, I started spending money to help me grow and to get better, to help me think different. Yeah, it costs $5,000 to join the John Maxwell team, so that I had to give up that $5,000. It cost me really about $12,000 in total investment to do what I do with the John Maxwell team. It cost that amount of money, but I had to make the investment to go to another level. And then there are things that you do to have a high level mentor. And you got to spend some money sometimes to get that person to help you go to another level, because you want to be where that person is. Then you got to do those things, and it's going to cost you sometimes. Sometimes I did things where it didn't cost me anything. I just had to give up time. So then I had to go and read. I had to spend hours reading books and listening to tapes and doing all of those things. When I was trying to get out of financial in my 20s and early 30s, trying to get out of financial trouble, I had to read a lot of stuff. I still got the binder sitting right behind me. I had to read those things, and then I had to fill out forms and write down my goals and my dreams and my aspirations. And that takes a lot of time. And maybe I want to go out and do some stuff with my friends, but I couldn't do that right then. I had those books and those forms I had to fill out. I had to complete that. I couldn't put it off till later. Now I spend time in my abundance journal, still filling stuff out. And I'm sitting over here retired, a multimillionaire, but I still do this. You have to be willing to do these things. I still journal in this workbook. This is the stuff that you have to be willing to do if you want to do what I do. I do it constantly, on purpose, intentionally, because I know that it's going to take me to another level. I have 4 workbooks on my counter now that I'm starting to work through, because it's going to create some other opportunities for me in my business. But I can't be around my friends and hang out and do all of this type stuff. I got to just focus on that right now. That's the stuff that you have to do. When I say, are you willing to pay the price? That's what I'm talking about sometimes. Are you willing to pay the price of time? It's not always about money. It's are you willing to pay the price of time, giving up your time so that you can go to a whole nother level. You see, those are the things that you have to be willing to do what I do. And if you're willing to do those things, I'm telling you folks, you can do it. I was born in poor Lake Charles, Louisiana. We didn't have a whole lot of things, but the things we had were important to us. We had great family. I know that. I didn't have my father in my life, but we had a great family. My mother, my grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather, my cousins, aunts, uncles. I didn't let not having a dad in my life impact me and say, well, I didn't have my dad, so I can't be a dad to my kids. No. It's going to motivate me to be an even better dad to my kids. See, because I never wanted my kids to ever have to call somebody else dad. That was just that important to me. So I said, I'm breaking that cycle. You have to be intentional about what you're going to do. You have to make conscious decisions in your life and what you want to do. And you know what, folks? Getting married at 19 years old and 17 years old, let me tell you what, folks, that's hard. You don't, I was confident, but you don't know what's going to happen. But you have to say, am I willing to do this? And am I willing to make a difference in my life and everybody's life around me? Yes. And we did it without big fanfare. We had a wedding, but it wasn't, this huge, big, fancy wedding. It was nice. It was really nice, actually. I never did an official proposal. We didn't have social media back then, so I couldn't put something out on social media and say, I'm going to propose in this stadium or in front of this building or in front of all these people. I didn't do that. I never did a proposal, really. Just say, we're getting married. And 35 years later, we're still in it. My point is, you don't have to have all the bigness to have success. You just have to do it. You have to be intentional. You have to have a definiteness of purpose. And you have to be willing to go the extra mile. You have to operate in your faith. Develop a mastermind alliance. Get around people who are doing some of the stuff that you want to do. Take the time to invest in yourself. If you just eliminate some of the junk you spend money on for a little while, you can invest in yourself. And trust me, folks, it's an investment in yourself when you have to take a course, an online course, or you hire a mentor. It's an investment in yourself to go to another level. It's not about, well, it costs too much money. No, it doesn't cost too much money. It's just a matter of if you want to invest in yourself or not. If you don't want to invest in yourself, then you're going to say it costs too much. When you want to invest in yourself, cost is not the issue. It's are you willing to make the commitment? That's what it is, folks. Are you willing to make the commitment? And that's it. So, folks, I've been here for an hour now. And I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for listening this morning on Friday Mental Motivation. I absolutely love it, folks. I'll be back here next Friday with another version of Friday Mental Motivation. And we just going to let the Lord take it where he want to take it, because that's what happened today. He just took over. I had a short message for you today, and he took over. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for helping make Friday Mental Motivation good. You just got to be willing, folks, to be that lion, to be that, to grind every day. You're going to be hearing more about Grind 365 series here in the coming months. You know, we launched the program in June. If you go to grind365series.com, you'll see our website there, but we'll launch it in at the end of June. And I'm excited for it, folks. I'm getting prepared right now. I'm doing all the stuff right now so that when we launch, boom, we're going to shoot out like a rocket. And you have to be willing, folks. You have to be willing to do the things to go to another level in your life. Otherwise, you can just stay right here. You just stay right here. Think about where you want to be 5 years from now. Think about where you want to be 10 years from now. Think about where you want to be 20 years from now. You see, the stuff that I think about is what is going to happen? What are people going to say about me 100 years from now? What are my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids? What are they going to say about what I left for them 100 years from now? Because that's the type of legacy I want to leave. That's what I'm working toward, is leaving that big of a legacy and an impact for other people. Not for me, because I won't be here, but for other people. So you got to think about it for yourself. What legacy are you going to leave? What are people going to say about you 100 years from now? Or will they not even know you existed 100 years from now? You see, that's what you got to think about. Think about your little kids that you have. If your kids are grown, think about them. Think about your nieces, your nephews. What are they going to be saying about you 100 years from now? So again, thank you guys very much. Thanks, Eddie, for tuning in. Thank QD. Thanks, Damien. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Donovan. Mike. All y'all for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Whether you're on LinkedIn, you're on YouTube listening, or you're on Facebook listening. But share this message with someone, folks, and tell them they need to tune in to Friday Mental Motivation. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Hey, didn't I say goodbye? Go home now. Go enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.